Back in March, we brought you the Daytona 500 to get the 2023 One-Up Superstar Series season started. Now, several months later, we are back once again at the Daytona International Speedway for race number 20 of this hard-fought and hard-contested One-Up Superstar Series season. The regular season finale is upon us at last. 13 drivers know they will race for a championship. One will know it once they start this race. The other spot, that's completely up for grabs as we get set for 50 laps around the World Center of Racing. And here with me to bring you all the action, as was the case for much of this season, James Ellison is with us once again. Well, we know the 13 drivers that are locked in. We know Devin Fair will clinch his spot by just taking the green flag tonight. But for that final spot, it's a lot of racing to decide who's going to get that one.
Yeah, and that's going to be fun to watch. Maybe not so fun for those who are fighting for it, because we know how Daytona can be. But it's going to be real interesting to see who gets the final spot.
Yep, we've got 3 main drivers racing for it, a few others with an outside chance, but really, it's going to come down to Anderson Reed, Eric Monaco, and Patrick Smith. Monaco has a 9-point lead over Anderson Reed going into this race, with Smith not too far behind. Reed needs to outscore Monaco by that much or more if he's going to have a chance to make his way in. Patrick Smith's got to hope for Monaco and Reed to stumble a little bit, and maybe he can find his way to the front. We'll find out later on, as we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's oh-so-important race. And wouldn't you know it, Anderson Reed, in what could be the most important race of his career, he gets pole position here at the World Center of Racing. Dylan Young lines up alongside him. Devin Fair, he knows he'll race for a championship. As soon as the green flag flies, he'll line up third alongside teammate Cody Goforth. Henry Thomas, in a part-time schedule, completes the top 5. But Patrick Smith and Eric Monaco are in a big hole to start this race. They start 30th and 28th respectively. They're going to need to find their way to the front in a hurry if they're going to offset the advantage Anderson Reed has to start this one.
Yeah, tracks like this, we talked about it before, they're the great equalizer. It gives the teams that don't normally have a chance to compete a chance, and it gives those who have a fairly poor qualifying effort, like as you mentioned, Monaco, Patrick Smith, and of course, Christian Vargas back here as well, gives them a chance to move their way up to the field without having to worry about pit strategy, usually.
But in this case, we will have one round of pit stops if this race goes green the entire way, which could be possible. We saw that in the 500, so anything is possible in this race here tonight. So, with that being said, we've done all the talking, the drivers are ready to race, and we are ready as well. The cars are lined up on the grid, all 42 of them. We are ready to bring you the action for the final time in the regular season. This is the One-Up Superstar Series from the Daytona International Speedway. And the green flag, once again, is mere moments from falling on the field of 42 once again. For one last time in 2023, Anderson Reed, Dylan Young on the front row. Reed's got to get a good start here if he's going to make the playoffs. Green flag in the air. We're underway at Daytona. Devin Fair locks himself into the playoffs with that start. And he's got to do a good job here, pushing Anderson Reed out to the lead. But it looks like they're starting to get disconnected as they head off towards turn 1 for the first time.
Just a little bit disconnected, but I don't know. I'm not sure how well Dylan Young could do, because he is currently surrounded by 3 Toyotas and the Chevy of Henry Thomas trying to make some moves there with Fair and Reed.
Yep, Reed has the advantage down the back straightaway. It takes about a lap for these cars to get up to full speed here, so there's a lot of time for these guys to start forming up packs, making moves. Here comes Henry Thomas to the inside of Devin Fair. That is for third. That could leave Reed with a disadvantage going into 3 and 4. He needs to lead this first lap in order to get a good advantage for the rest of the night.
And Henry Thomas just moved Fair in the middle. Reed saw that coming. And we'll see here, and Young gets it by just that much.
That is not what Anderson Reed wanted to see. He needs this. He needs a bonus point for leading the lap, but I don't think he's going to get it, because here comes Sam Donato on the inside line, pushed by Jared Polanski and Ricky Freeman Jr., trying to get the lead from Reed as they head down the back straightaway for lap number 2. We're already 3 wide for the lead, and we've only completed a lap and a half.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping maybe Donato and Polanski would help their fellow Toyota driver out, but they decided they want to be greedy early.
You remember, you can't win this race on the first lap, but you can certainly lose it here. and I fear Anderson Reed's chance at leading a lap might have just come and gone. But as they come around now to complete lap number 2, Denoto has just swiftly chops off the 18 of Polanski. Denoto leads lap 2, and he's got a fairly clear advantage ahead of Polanski, and then 3 wide with Freeman, Reed, and Dylan Young.
Yeah, talk about Freeman. He wants second, and no doubt he wants that lead too. But there's a whole bunch of people here who want that lead, and with this kind of racing, as we've talked about, there's quite a few of them who are going to get that chance if things play out their way.
Absolutely. But Sam Denoto's got quite the lead under him right now. Look at how far he's drawn out ahead of the battling pair of Freeman and Polanski.
Might be too far.
Don't get too far out in front. You're absolutely right, because if you get too far out in front of the pack, they will swallow you up in a hurry. But completing lap number 3, Denoto holds the lead, and Anderson Reed, he's still hanging on to a spot in the top 5, and for now, that's definitely good enough, but he needs to stay in the front to make this work. He can't afford to get stuck up on the high side like he is right now and drop all the way to the rear.
Yeah, you don't want that, and looking like 3 wide back there from a 4th on back, and well, for a few rows at least. But I've noticed a few different players that started just outside the top 10 starting to come in here. But it'll shuffle this whole race. But right now, man, Denoto, we were worried about him being too far out, but he seems to have be able to hold his own at the moment.
Yes, remember, he got his only win of the season so far back in race number 2 at Auto Club Speedway with a bold last lap pass on Roberto Crown Jr. That's the only lap he led that day, but he's already led more than that here. He's already led 4 laps so far, 3 technically. He'll lead his 4th this time around. But Denoto, he's hoping to get a second win to join his teammate Emma Carter in the 2-win category, but if his other teammate Aaron Hall starts to creep into the picture, Denoto might consider playing the team game to try and get that 07 up into the playoffs as well. He's got an outside shot at it.
Outside shot and a win gets him in. That would certainly be something that I think it'd be big to have all 3 of those drivers in the playoffs. But it's a matter of how this plays out, as he's still hanging on there and just led that 4th lap.
Yep, this is something we saw quite a bit in the 500. A driver gets out in front and holds it for a while, despite what we've seen at other draft-style tracks, such as this in Talladega. But it's a lot cooler here than it was during the daylight in March. So there's a lot more grip. These guys will be able to race 3 and 3 wide more often, as it looks like the top 3 starting to pull away, and here comes Mark Davey on the inside of RFJ to try and get second spot.
Yeah, these two get side by side, working with Denoto. The pack might start to catch him again. Here comes Polanski's getting a little draft off of Davey, and the top 4 are just right there separated, but don't count any of the other guys behind him out.
Absolutely not. You can't count anybody out here until they've either crossed the finish line or wrecked. But it's still plenty early in this race. We're only on lap number 7, but it's Sam Denoto out in the lead. He's led all but the opening lap so far. And notice that neon yellow car, Anderson Reed, start to fall further and further behind. He's already out of the top 10. And he's at risk now, because look who's passed him, the 86 of Eric Monaco, the car who needs to outscore today if he's going to have any hope at all of making the championship racing.
Yeah, it's still early on. We're not quite a fifth of the way through this race, but that being stuck on the high side like that, and the cycle not going quite in his favor to give him a chance to move back up isn't going to do him any good.
No, it will not, but there's still plenty of time for him to make his way back up there. As now, we've got a move for the lead on our hands. Sam Denoto gets pushed up high, makes way for Mark Davey and Jared Polanski. Further back, Nick Ortiz tries to fend off William Brock to no avail. As it looks like they are going 3 wide for the race lead through 3 and 4.
Very briefly, but yeah, Denoto got shuffled out there, and it was on. And now you got Polanski coming up there with a little help from Brock and the Finn guy, and I'm a little nervous about things, but not too nervous just yet, because they're not getting too nuts.
No, and we saw last night in the national race things were fairly calm for much of the night. So these guys know how to keep clean race cars. We've seen that all season long. And now Davey makes way for Polanski to take the lead, but he's getting a shove from William Brock, and here comes the 92 of Finn guy with a push from the Vermont winner Braden Varga and fellow rookie James Silverfox in the 9.
Yeah, this is great to see. You get like you talk about Varga. I mean, he already has a win, but who wouldn't want another one? Just because you can. And Silver Fox jumped in that ride a few races ago, and it's been a mixed bag for him. He could certainly use at least a top 5, top 10, if not a win.
Absolutely, he could really go for that to give team owner Zachary Fitzwater a bit of a morale boost, since we know neither of his cars are going to be racing for a championship later this year. But down the backstretch they go. William Brock makes a move to the inside on Polanski for the top spot. They barrel it off side by side into turn 3.
I was about ready to say, it looked like he had no help, but then Finn Guy and Davey, now just Davey back down there with him. But yep, this is a game we're going to be seeing this all race long. So if they can keep it together and not bring chaos, this is the kind of racing we'll see.
Yep, side by side, 3 wide for much of the race. Here comes Davey back to the inside. He's got a push from teammate Varga. 3 wide for the lead through 1 and 2. It's easily achievable here at Daytona. And just like that, the 01 makes a move back to the lead. However, his teammate is looking to try and get underneath him maybe for the lead. That would make it 4 wide. We saw that a little bit last night, and it didn't cause a yellow, but here it could be a little dicey, but Varga settles back in line.
He's peeking, but he's playing it smart. He may have rookie stripes, and he may be a rookie, but that does not mean that he's going to make a bold move that could cost him and a whole bunch of people a chance at a victory.
Absolutely. So Varga settles back in. Davey leads the lap over William Brock, and it looks like the 01's going to keep the lead heading into turn 1. We're on lap number 12 now, and we haven't had any incidents so far in the opening stages. Remember back at Talladega in the spring, we had a horrendous crash that involved over half the field on just the 3rd lap. Keeping it much cleaner here at Daytona, as it looks like Varga is going to try and get underneath the 93 to try and make it a Finish Line Motorsports 1-2 at the front.
And it looks like he's going to successfully do that and bring Silver Fox and Monaco with one of those looking for that final playoff spot with him.
Yeah, Monaco needs a good run here. At the very least, he needs to beat the 5 if he's going to have a shot to make this. But Monaco has done a great job of making his way from the back to the front. He's up in the top 5 now. He's working his way underneath teammate William Brock to try and get into the 4 spot, following Silver Fox in the 9.
Yeah, that's a good place to be, especially when the 5 of Anderson Reed is stuck back in the high side, way right there in the midfield. I can see that car standing out as teammates fighting for the lead now.
Braden Varga coming into the inside of Mark Davey for the race lead. This is Varga's first trip to the Daytona International Speedway, so it's clear he races like a professional here. As they come across the complete lap number 13, Davey leads barely at the line. 3 wide for the 3rd spot. 3 dodges going for it in the inside lane.
Yeah, 2 of them teammates. One of them just kind of stuck in the middle right now with Silver Fox between Brock and Monaco, but now looks like that's kind of settled out a bit.
So now it's just a battle for the lead among teammates, Davey and Varga on the inside line. Is Monaco going to try and stick his nose in to try and get the inside line? He is. He's going to make it 3 wide. He's got to the quarter panel of the 19. But is he going to have to back out, try and settle it back in to allow the 2 teammates a little breathing space? It looks like, yes, he backs off. He gives Varga the inside back.
Yeah, but if he hadn't backed off and it had worked out, he had some help there from the 81. I think that's the 81.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Roberto Crown Jr. coming up in the mix. It's, like I said, it doesn't matter like we said, it doesn't matter where you start. It's just a matter of if you can make your way to the front, if people are willing to let you in. And right now, things are looking really good for Eric Monaco to if the race were to if this is how the race were to end in at the end of lap 50, he would definitely be making the playoffs, but still got a lot of work to do as he tries to figure out a way by the finish line teammates.
Absolutely. Monaco is in the catbird seat right now. Patrick Smith and Anderson Reed way back in the pack right now. Anderson Reed 30th, Patrick Smith 27th. So Monaco easily doing what he needs to do. Remember, Eric Monaco won the pole for the Daytona 500 back in March. He knows how to race this racetrack. It's just a matter of doing what he needs to do at the right moment to try and get a solid finish. And if that means hanging out behind the 01 and the 19 for the whole night, so be it.
Yeah, he just wants to stay right where he's at if he can't get by these two up here, but he keeps peaking. He wants to get up there and truly secure himself with a win.
Or at the very least, get a bonus point for leading a lap, because that'll help him in his bid for a championship as well. But look at how close it was between the 01 and the 19 at the line right there. If that was the race for the checkered flag, man, that would have been close. But looks like finally Varga's getting a nose out on the 01 as they head down the back straightaway. Varga's got a push from Monaco. This could get interesting down the backstretch.
Oh, for certain. I think one of the reasons why Monaco wasn't able to do anything, although it looks like that push didn't quite get it, but he might have a chance here because it looks like the top line's separating just a bit.
Oh yeah, the inside looks so much more organized at the moment, and so but here comes Crown to get underneath the 86. That'll jumble up the inside a little bit. It does allow Varga to lead the lap, but I think Davey's gonna have a fighting chance now because Crown and Monaco have split the inside into two lines now. That is gonna make things pretty tough. Although it allows the Genesis teammates to get nose to tail once again.
Yeah, that could be a problem if they get to the bottom line, which seems to be the line that moves you forward when it's moving forward. But yeah, it's looking really good right now. I'm kind of liking this little finish line blockade here.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what they need to do. Hold up everybody equally. Just manage both lanes together. Normally, it's one driver trying to manage all the lanes by himself. But these two are managing to do it together, and that is just allowing Finish Line Motorsports to be in command of this race. However, I would expect the 81 car of Roberto Crown Jr., maybe a few others, to start getting a little bit impatient with the 19 and the 01.
Yeah, you talk about impatience. I could see Aaron Hall back there in the 07 got a little tired of the 10 of Ben McDonald being between him and a fellow Toyota driver, and he's probably not done yet, especially since he's got Goforth back there wanting to, well, go forward.
And a few cars further back, Victor Nunez in the 27 making his first start at Daytona. And how about the car behind him, Stanley Andrews in the 24. First race for this team in quite a while, and he's making his presence known. He made the Daytona 500 through his dual race back in the spring, and he performed admirably there. He's doing even better here in the night race here at Daytona. He's almost pushed his way into the top 10.
Yeah, he's just hanging there on the outside, and he might end up just sticking right there if Hall, who moved inside of Roberto Crown Jr., can't do anything with the finish line boys.
And let's not forget the other finish line cars of Freeman and Ortiz aren't too far away either. Ortiz is back in that high line, but Freeman's in the middle, right behind that gray and white car of Ben McDonald in the 12. So he's within striking distance to try and help his teammates out even further, although doesn't even look like they need his help, because right now they're just putting a chokehold on this field as we cross lap 20.
And that chokehold will only go for so long before someone decides enough is enough and tries to root, like, say, the 19 out of the way. And if they don't do it just wrong, well, that could be the whole field.
Considering how close the whole field is, I can't disagree with you there. But so far, they're putting on an absolute virtuoso performance here at Daytona. And Mark Davey, we know he's going to race for a championship, and he's got to be considered one of the favorites. If he can win this race tonight, he'll actually enter the playoffs as the #1 overall seed. So there's extra incentive for the 0-1 team to go out and win this race. Give himself 5 more bonus points heading into the first race of the playoffs at Bristol next week.
Yeah, that's definitely important because even if you're locked in already, and extra points never hurts, especially if it gives you the advantage that Davey would have if he could win tonight.
Yeah, if he fails to win this race, he'd be tied with Emma Carter at the top of the points with 15 bonus points each. But if Davey can win here, that would be an extra 5, put him over to 70 in that battle. But it's still those two finish line cars dominating at the front. Although Aaron Hall sticking his nose there underneath the 19 of Braden Varga, who swiftly chops off the 07. It's still those two finish line cars just cruising out in front.
Yeah, I think that even as good as the 4 might be, although 4 is kind of shuffled in the middle now. I thought for sure Goforth and Hall might have a run, but it fell apart, and I guess 27 Nunez, he decided he needed to do something to see if he could get up there and make something happen.
Yep, and
bring that 24 with him.
Yep. Here's this 24, Stanley Andrews. This is only his 7th career start all of this season. This is only the team's 7th ever start, one of which was their debut back at the Daytona 500. They performed very well despite the odds, and right now he's making a push into the top 10 in very underfunded equipment. They've got the good relationship they have with Taco Bell that's allowing them to get sponsorship and attempt to make the races every week. This is a fantastic underdog story, and who knows, at this rate, he could even finish this high.
And right now, it's looking real good for him, especially with how hard it is to get past the top 2 right now. Well, I should say top 3, because it looks like Crown's made something happen on the high side. Davey clears his teammate, and, well, the side-by-side blockade is done for now.
And I wouldn't be surprised if Roberto Crown Jr. and Ben McDonald don't try something here to try and push their way forward. Crown has already passed Braden Varga, and he seems to have a good drafting relationship with this 12 car. They've cleared the 19. Now Crown's going to swoop down to try and take the lead from the 01 through the first and second corners.
Yeah, I think that's all Crown needed was a little bit of a temporary alliance with McDonald to find some way to get by, but well, we'll see how well it works, because I'm not sure how willing that 19 will be to let his teammate get past.
No, but at this point, I don't think he has a choice. He's got to push whoever he's behind. As we come to take the halfway lap this time, who will lead it? Will it be Mark Davey? Will it be Roberto Crown Jr.? At the stripe, it is going to be the 81 of Roberto Crown Jr. leading at the line. And now we can focus on the second half of this exhilarating regular season finale here at Daytona. And as they run right now, Eric Monaco would still be in position to take the last playoff spot, but we still have half the race to go, and we have a round of green flag pit stops if this race stays green the whole way.
Those green flag pit stops, especially with as close as the racing has been, it could be interesting if someone starts trying to pit late, and who knows. But right now, everything's looking pretty good.
And if you'll notice, two things. One, Anderson Reed at the very back has found his way to the inside line. Let's see if he can make his way forward from there. And secondly, the finish line cars have rebuilt their blockade, except this time they've got Roberto Crown Jr. directly in front of them. So now they're playing defense for the 81, whether they want to or not. So it's gonna be pretty interesting to see what Crown can do now that he's got the lead all to himself.
Yeah, and I can guarantee. Well, we see Victor Nunez got moved out of the way. Andrews now behind Hall, and you got Felix Anderson coming up here. He's had a few decent results of late, and honestly, I think that he could probably have something to say right there if he can get the Hall and make something happen.
I'm sure that could very well be the case, but we're about 7 to 8 laps away from green flag pit stops, so these guys are getting ready to make deals, wheel and deal with the opposition, as they say. So they've got to get the crew chiefs and the spotters have got to be talking to each other, trying to figure out who to pit with and when, because these guys, you want to pit with other people here at Daytona to build up a pack when you leave to have enough of a draft to stay in contention.
Yeah, because if you end up being forced to pit on your own, say you cut a tire or you just get told to pit and nobody goes with you, even if you believe they will, you're kind of screwed.
Yep, to put it bluntly, yes. But I'm sure Roberto Crown Jr. is thinking about that and then some, because his only teammate in this race, Jared Polansky, is quite a ways behind him. So he's got to find a way to make deals with either the finish line cars or maybe Aaron Hall behind the 19. He'd like to work with his fellow Toyotas, the 07, the 4, and the 53, but if he can't do that, he's got to just find someone to make a deal with, anybody, to try and salvage something out of this race. We're making a big deal out of these pit stops, but for good reason. They could decide who wins this race.
Yeah, and there's Aaron Hall trying again, but the 24 just wasn't right there behind him, and that 19 is just too good right now.
It's very impressive to see how Brayton Varga has acclimated to these cars in such a short amount of time. His second career start at Vermont, he gets the checkered flag, and now I believe this is only his fifth career start in the Superstar Series, and he's racing for a win yet again. This could be a very promising career from this 19 driver. It's very fun to watch.
And I couldn't help but notice somebody else who doesn't normally get talked about a whole lot unless something bad happens to them. See the 98 there of Brown Stojanovic. I apologize if I'm butchering that again, but he's come up there into the top 10. Well, was.
Yeah, briefly, but he is there, and that is a very strong run for the Team Dayspring 98 to try and make their way up towards the front. But here comes Ben McDonald to the inside. He's gotten those finish line cars broken up again. Now he's going to try and find his old drafting partner and see if they can make a push towards far away from everyone else.
Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of help, and Hall was able to finally get on the inside there of the 19, and unfortunately, it's not for second place anymore.
No, it is for fourth in this race, but the top three have gone single file. Crown, Davey, and McDonald. They're all going to be racing for a championship later this year. Yep, Varga's clear now. McDonald's making a move on Davey for second spot, but now Hall and I think Goforth and Andrews, they're all clear single file. Now let's see if Mark Davey gets shuffled out of line. Nope, Aaron Hall's going to come up to try and help the 01 this time. Nope, he switches back down, and now the 4 moves up high.
Yeah, this is getting interesting. I think what it is they're shuffling around knowing that the pit stops are coming here in a few laps, and they're jockeying for every position they can, seeing if they can do something about that 81 to score a bonus point or two before they have to pit, because we don't know what the field's going to look like after the green flag stops.
No, but I have a feeling they're all going to pit in groups, because that is the ultimate way to keep up track position and lap time here at the World Center of Racing under green flag pit stops. We do seem to get these quite often here, as McDonald swoops down to the inside of Crown. He's had enough playing nice with the 81. He wants to get a bonus point for himself.
I was just talking about that. You get to a point where when you know pit stops are coming, you want to do something, and Davey trying to get there to go 3 wide, and there he goes.
3 wide for the lead through 3 and 4. It's a Toyota, a Ford, and a Chevrolet, all 3 wide for the race lead, coming out of the tri-oval. Now, looks like we got some cars pitting. Aaron Hall's coming to pit road. Christian Vargas comes in. Oh, and we got a spin! It's Patrick Smith and Jason Parker. Christian Vargas gets piled in from behind. A big crash coming into the pit lane, and that brings out the caution for the first time tonight.
I was talking about it. You don't want to make a mistake like that coming to pit road, and as you see the 54 doing a funny dance,
and for
it's very unfortunate.
And for Patrick Smith, that's going to put an end to his championship hopes for 2023. He was doing a decent job trying to make his way to the front. He was he was riding around waiting for the pit cycle, but alas, it is all over for car number 04 as the field comes back to the caution flag. This is going to set up a big strategy call because there were a few cars that made it to pit road before the caution came out. I believe those cars are going to be your race leaders when this is all said and done. Yeah, look, Devin Fair is one of those cars. Jared Polanski, Bobo Jones is going to be your race leader when all is said and done, and Austin Runkle in the 14 as well.
Yeah, this is going to be a bit of an interesting shuffle, and it's going to be real interesting. Someone else we didn't mention that was involved in that incident looked like Jason Parker, who that is very unfortunate for him. He started in the back and had an opportunity with this great equalizer that is Daytona to try to do something, and well, that's unfortunate for him as well as everyone else caught up in that mess.
So it looks like we're going to lose from this race. Jason Parker, like he said, and critically, Patrick Smith as well. His race and his championship hopes are gone here at Daytona International Speedway. It has come down to a 1v1 between Eric Monaco and Anderson Reed for the final playoff spot, and it looks like everybody's going to head to pit road with the exception of those 4 cars we mentioned a moment ago. They are probably going to cycle out to the race lead once these guys all come in.
Yeah, and that's going to be interesting because I know because we've seen it mentioned in off-track comments. Devin Fair does not want to settle for anything but a win anymore because he's tired of not finishing well. He's tired of the way his season's gone, even though it's not been horrible. He wants wins, and it's understandable.
Absolutely, but pit stops the order of the night now, as we got everybody on pit road with the exception of those 4 cars you see in the background. They are going to assume the lead of this race. As McDonald exits the pits, he makes contact with the 91 as Ortiz tried to get into his pit, and this is going to shuffle the field up in quite a dramatic way. Andrews is out of his box. Donotto comes in. Thomas pulls out. Anderson Reed pulls in for his service as everybody streams out of the pits. I believe Mark Davey did jump the 12 car because of that contact.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out, honestly, because you got these 4 up here who got into the pits before things happen, and then everybody else who, well, they're going to want to try to get by these guys quick.
You see Christian Vargas, he was right in the middle of the field. You see a lot of cars move up high to try and give these guys space to come into the pits. Aaron Hall's the first one to peel off, and you see these guys, they all peel off to the pit lane, and then Smith tries to commit too late. He commits, and Jason Parker was already there. They come in and pile into the back of the 54 of Vargas, who does a few spins in the grass. But that was just a poorly executed commitment by the 04 and the 76. I think they both have to shoulder a little bit of blame for that incident. So you see Smith and Parker, they were at the very tail end of the field anyway. They had loads of space to try and slow up and prepare to come in for their pit stops. What I think is going to happen, Parker's the first one to peel off. Smith realizes what's happening. He tries to pull in. And yeah, that's not a good look for any of these guys because they've pretty much ruined Christian Vargas's race and as well as their own. That's just a heartbreaking situation for all of those guys.
It is very unfortunate, and I'm pretty sure I saw the 10 take some damage as well. Maybe one of the green cars in the field did. I'm pretty sure it was the 10.
Yes, it was. So he will be waved by to get back to the tail end of the lead lap, as will the 07 of Aaron Hall. It's going to be interesting to see because see Vargas parked on pit road repairing damage. Brandon Beal doing the same. Yeah, the 07 and the 10, they're going to be waved around to get back onto the tail end of the lead lap. So Bobo Jones in this 7 car, he's going to be your leader of the race. He already is your leader of the race. He started back in 41st, and now we're closing in on 10 laps to go, and he is your leader. Remember, Bobo Jones, he got his first career win right here at the very first one-up Superstar Series race. Wouldn't it be a miracle? Wouldn't it be something really special, rather, if he can pull off his 3rd career win right here at the same place?
I think that'd be great. And then you look at who's in second right now, Austin Runkle, I think that would be huge for him as well. It'd be huge for a lot of people, really. But honestly, he's just kept it clean. A lot of these guys, they had all kept it clean up until that incident. But I'm honestly keeping an eye on for Bobo Jones. I think it'd be great. But I'm keeping an eye on folks like Runkle and a couple others. We know Cody Goforth is hungry to make up for the heartbreak from a couple weeks ago.
Yep, we've got a bunch of great stories up at the front of the field. We have Bubba Jones looking for his first win in 3 years. Austin Runkle looking for his first ever series win. We have Jared Polansky looking for what could be his final win in the 1-Up Superstar Series. Devin Fair, of course, we've talked about him. Mark Davey trying to get the number 1 playoffs seed. Ben McDonald trying to go for the sweep for Venta Motorsport here at Daytona. Cody Goforth looking for his first career superstar win, and like you said, a huge shot at redemption after what happened at Boston. Braden Varga is looking to cement his status as a rising star. Stanley Andrews in 9th place. That would be the ultimate underdog story if he could win this race. And then AJ Jones completing the top 10. He's getting a must-win situation to make the playoffs. So everyone in the top 10 has got to be thinking about this restart coming up in a few moments' time and what they can do to try and get around the upcoming slow car of Christian Vargas.
Yeah, I don't think Christian was wanting this, but at least he doesn't have to worry about whether he's in the playoffs or not. But certainly he would have liked things to be better, but I'm sure he'll do the right. He's got plenty of experience to know to get out of the way as quickly as he can.
Yep, so we're about to find out what's going to happen over the course of the next 12 laps of this race. We're going to have a 12-lap shootout to decide the outcome of the playoffs and of this race here at Daytona. So as the pace car gets ready to pull off on the pit road, Bobo Jones is your leader, Austin Runkle, Jared Polansky, Devin Fair, Mark Davey. That is your top 5. As the pace car finally pulls off, we're going to get this thing restarted on lap 39.
Yeah, and here we go. Green flag back in the air. See how quickly that we can get past Vargas. Although it looks like Polanski's going to try to maybe use looked like he was going to try to use the 54.
And that restart is under review by 1-Up officials. They saw something they did not like. We're gonna get an update in a few moments' time, but for now, it is Runkle trying to get around the 7 for the lead.
And he has no help at the moment, but we saw it right there. It looked like Polanski before we cut away to look at the back of the field. I thought for sure saw Polanski get ready to go up there.
Big implications for the playoffs. The officials have reached their verdict. Eric Monaco has been given the black flag for a restart violation. He will have to do a drive-through penalty on pit road, which should take him out of contention at least for this win, and it might do in his championship hopes as well.
Yeah, I said something about Polanski maybe going to help Runkle. Well, scratch that. We know he's going for what could be his final.
Oh, and we got Goforth in the wall. Boy. Cody Goforth sliding up along the wall. Suspension failure for the 4 car of Cody Goforth. He is going to fall out of this race with 10 laps to go. And that is heartbreak once again for this 4 team. They were doing everything right, but he's not even going to make it back to the pit lane. We should stay green, but tough circumstances for the second of the Revolution Racing cars to have a problem tonight.
And now you see it, Devin Fair. He is carrying the Revolution Racing banner, and he knows Polanski wants to get what could end up being his final win of his career before he retires at the end of the season. But I talked about it earlier. He won't settle for anything less than a win, and there he goes looking for that lead with McDonald and Davey back there giving him some drafting support.
Here he comes, Devin Fair down the inside with 10 laps to go. Does he have what it takes to A, get by Polanski, and B, keep hold of that lead for the remainder of this race? We saw this in the National Series race. A driver got out front with about this much of the race to go and held on the rest of the way. And Goforth's in the pits. They made it back. But Devin Fair, his teammate, looking for every possible opportunity to try and make something happen as Eric Monaco comes in to serve his penalty.
Yeah, that's a tough one, but the 1-Up officials did what needed to be done. They weren't going to let him get away with it. They didn't like what they saw, and yeah, he understands what needs to be done, and he's going to serve that penalty. And Fair and McDonald up here clear, pretty well clear for the top 2 spots.
To clarify what that penalty was about, you might have seen coming to the restart, Eric Monaco was to the left-hand side of the car in front of him coming to the restart. That's a big no-no. You have to stay in line with the cars around you coming to the restart unless you're a lap or more down. Or, if you want to make a pass, you had to make it to the right-hand side. Monaco did it to the left, and that's what got him his penalty. And that's what could cost him a shot at the championship. But right now, with 8 laps to go, Devin Fair holds a pretty comfortable lead over McDonald and Polanski. This could be a really big race to settle this one out.
Yeah, and I couldn't help but notice, while we had that 10-car pack for a little bit, there was one car that was able to suck up to the draft, and that is the 39 of Echo Evans-Ross. She now resides in the top 10 with the rest of these guys, these drivers who are all jockeying for that win if they can get by Fair.
Yeah, Devin Fair is doing what he needs to do to try and win this race. He started third, fell all the way to the back, was having difficulty getting back up to the front, but that strategy call was exactly what he needed to get back into contention. And now, with 7 laps to go, he's got a great opportunity here to get his second career win and his first at Daytona.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome thing. His first career win came on a road course. His second one being on a plate track would be something special for him, especially at the World Center of Racing.
But he's still got to hold off Polanski, McDonald, Davey, Runkle, and everyone else for 6.5 more laps. We've seen Fair be able to cope with the pressure before, as it looks like the second pack is now caught up to the front group. Jeffrey Finguy, Sam Donotto, and Chris Lattimore have caught up. Miles Mashburn's getting up there. J.D. Martin, James Silverfox, and maybe Stanley Andrews as well. They're all going to be in the mix for the win as we have 6 laps to go.
Yeah, the rest of the field catching up top 10 started with Evans-Ross, and bit by bit they started gathering together. Tighten your seatbelts, folks, and put on your hard hats. This could get fun.
And it certainly is a lot of fun for Devin Fair right now, but he's got to hang on for 5.5 more laps if he's going to have a shot at this win. Fair, he's had a lot of adversity this season, and yet he's still persevered through it all and is going to race for a championship this time next week. However, he wants to win. We all know that. And he's definitely in the best position he's ever been in to win a race this season, coming up now on 5 laps to go.
That is going to be the longest 5 laps of his life, as we see Silver Fox has caught up to the pack, and it looks like Stanley Andrews now getting up there. But it's all going to be for nothing for these guys if they can't do anything about Fair.
No, and it looks like Ben McDonald has now become the leading force in the battle to try and catch the 51. This is going to be very intense for the rest of this race. McDonald actually looks like he's starting to lose a little bit of ground. Now Polanski gets back to his outside. Could the 18 make a run at it?
Well, it could be, but I would say watch out for that 93. William Brock, he was part of that second pack that caught up, and he's already rooted a few people out of the way to make some moves, and now we see 19 going against his teammate.
Yep, they were dominant early on, but it's Devin Fair with 4 laps to go that has the advantage right now. However, they're going to come up on Eric Monaco in a moment. They're going to put him a lap down pretty soon. So what lane he decides to go in front of could decide who wins this race. Because you see the blue and red 86 car up in front. He's going to fall a lap down to these guys. They're so much faster than him by himself. They're going to catch him. And here comes Polanski. He's cleared McDonald. He's gotten to the inside of Fair. Jared Polanski to the lead. We're coming to 3 laps to go.
We talked about it. He wants what could be his final win. And what better place to get what could be the final victory of your career than Daytona. And he's got it. He's got the lead. He's not quite clear, but he definitely had the advantage on the line.
He definitely did. And now with 3 laps to go, Devin Fair has got to hope that Eric Monaco slows up this bottom groove when they catch him. Otherwise, he could be out of luck and out of time. But coming down the back straightaway, coming to 2 laps to go, McDonald moves to the inside of Polanski to try and make it 3 wide for the lead as they head off into turn 3. Varga gets to his outside now. McDonald's got no help down there. That should allow Devin Fair and Jared Polanski to resume their fight for the top spot.
I don't know about that. William Brock went to the inside of Varga, and now it's 3 wide for what could very well be for the win if these guys are the ones who stay up in the front.
2 laps of racing to go. Polanski clears McDonald and settles back down on the inside line. Devin Fair on the outside doing everything he can to try and keep the lead of this race. But they've come up to lap Eric Monaco. Which way does the 86 go? This could decide everything right here.
And Polanski's already trying to make that move to get clear of him and paved the way for Sam Donotto, Miles Mashburn, and the others on the inside to get clear. And oh boy, I guarantee that is not going to go over well with Devin Fair if it costs him the race.
It probably will cost him the race because now Sam Donotto's gotten ahead of him as well. We're coming to the white flag this time. The crowd is on their feet for Jared Polanski. He's going to take the white flag here at Daytona International Speedway one more time around.
Yep, and there it is. White flag. He's well ahead of the lead. Not quite clear of the car of Monaco, who's, well, he's up to speed now with the pack. And don't look now. I'm seeing Chris Lattimore in the top 10 with James Silverfox. Stanley Andrews trying to get another position as well as Runkle. But it's all going on behind the man who wants this win so bad.
And for Jared Polanski, this has been a long time coming. He said earlier this season this would be his last time around in the Superstar Series. We knew this was going to be his swan song, but we never expected that it would take this long for him to get his first win of the year. Off of turn 4, the crowd is going to get on their feet again. They're going to see, for what could be the very last time, Jared Polanski scored a victory in the One-Up Superstar Series. He does it at Daytona.
Yeah, that is something that he is never going to forget. And like I said, if he doesn't win any more this season, I think he'll be very happy to see that his final Superstar win came here. But we still got a few races to find out. But still, this is something for him to celebrate, and you can't go wrong with a win at Daytona, no matter if it's your first season or your final.
Yep, his 9th career win and his first since Talladega in the spring of 2022. He gets it done here at Daytona. Sam Donotto does come home second. Devin Fair once again comes up just a fraction short of that win. He comes home third tonight, and I'm sure he'll be happy with the good run, but he knows he was going to get that win. He was so close to it. Miles Mashburn picks up the fastest lap and comes home fourth today. Ben McDonald completes the top 5 ahead of Crown, Lattimore, Silverfox. Stanley Andrews gets his first career top 10, and Austin Runkle does the same. And for that final playoff spot, we were talking about it, Anderson Reed, he did what he needed to do. He finished 30th today, and with Eric Monaco finishing off the lead lap, that will be enough for the number 5 team to race for a championship.
And big congratulations to Anderson Reed. We're still waiting to find out what he's doing next year, but right now I think the important thing is he gets to go fight for a championship. But he's got a lot of work to do, but I no doubt he is up for the challenge, just like he's been up for the challenge all this season.
Absolutely. So, the 15 playoff drivers are set. Congrats to Emma Carter, by the way, on locking up the regular season championship tonight. She gets an extra 5 bonus points to head into the playoffs. And now, we're going to get you set for those playoffs to begin this time next week at Bristol Motor Speedway for race number 21 of the season. So, from James Ellison and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Daytona International Speedway. Congrats to Jared Polanski for what could be his final win in the series. And we've got our playoff drivers. They are locked in and ready to go. We'll see you again for the 10-race championship hunt starting next week at Bristol.